All right. Is there a victim signed in yet on Escalante? Okay. Lost my whole thing.
Yes, sir. I'm right here. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. What's your name, sir?
Troy Morris James Escalante.
All right. You are charged with domestic violence, criminal damage, and domestic violence disorderly conduct. And Miss Carrillo, is that you on the line?
Yes, this is her.
All right. You have a right to be heard on conditions of like contact and return and release. Did you want to be heard?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I don't think jail is gonna help him so much. I think he needs treatment. I just want to put my input on that. That day of the what is it, January 1st is what they're saying the charges are for. We were arguing and I didn't let him back in the house and he knocked on my window and it broke the window. So I just think that he has like a drinking problem and like I don't mind him getting out, but he does. I believe he needs treatment.
Okay. So it didn't happen today?
No, they called me earlier and they said it was January 1st of 2024.
Oh, okay. So they have to amend it. Okay. Well, Mr. Escalante, it looks to me like you have a hold anyway, a probation hold. So what
Yes,
I'm going
ma'am.
to do is appoint a city public defender to represent you on this domestic violence case and on the DUI case. Miss Carrillo, I'm sorry. Do you want contact and return or no? Miss Carrillo?
I'm sorry, I had it on mute. So another day, and they made me put a restraining order on him. I don't have like a problem with him getting out, but I guess he's not allowed to be back in my house. But I do like want some sort of contact with him.
All right. Well, I'm going to do a no contact right now because if there's another order, I don't want to confuse things, but you can welcome to come to court on December 11th at 1:30 and talk to the advocates and the prosecutors there and we can change it at that time. But right now, sir, I am going to appoint a city public defender, hold you on a $750 bond, don't drive without a valid license since you have this DUI also. Don't consume or possess any alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. Right now, no contact with Miss Carrillo and no return to her residence. And that can be changed at the next court date, but that's what I'm going to leave right now. All right. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. All right, sir. So
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Related back.
Bye.
You're violating my order already. Isn't that something?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Not
Okay.
you, him. All right. We're done, Mr.
Sorry. Look.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there were 2 people at some time. Oh, wait, just go ahead. I'm gonna take it tomorrow.
Sir. Yes. Go out. Sir. Go out.
Garcia. Luis. Are you in here?
Keep going on.
Go with Garcia. No. Same thing. All right, Ortega. Judge, he's looking for Garcia right now. This one is Ortega.
Okay.
Hello, Judge. How's your day?
Great. What's your name?
Ortega, Angelito Romeo Ortega.
Okay.
Judge, can I
Let-
just say something?
No, would you let me do my job first and then you can say something if you want to?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have a charge of shoplifting out of, let's see, I can't even tell what this one is. Let's see, you got a warrant out of Marana for drug paraphernalia and failure to appear on that one. So I'm gonna release you on that one. And you've got to come back to Marana Court on January 8th
Thank you.
at 10 a.m. Then you have a new citation for shoplift, and that's going to be in Justice Court. And I'm going to order you not to return to that incident location of the shoplift and
Yes,
come
ma'am.
back to Justice Court on December 31st at 8:30, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. And then you've got many, many failures to appear in city court. Criminal trespass, criminal trespass, criminal trespass, criminal trespass, failures to appear. So on those, I'm going to hold you on a $250 bond, appoint a city public defender to represent you, order you not to go back to any of the incident locations. And your next court date will be December 6th at 1:45. And that's it. sir.
Good. Judge, can I say something?
Go ahead.
I was homeless when I was able. It was hard for me to have an address. I just recently got back in contact with my mom and stuff, so I'm able to keep track and be able to do these things. If you would be so kind to let me be able to walk today, I would really appreciate it, honestly. And I'm just asking because I really need it. I really need help.
Well, if these were all warrants and you told me that, but here you are for a new case. So no, you can talk to your lawyers, sir.
Okay.
Okay. What name?
Alexandria Harris.
Okay. Miss Harris, you are charged with domestic violence assault, domestic violence criminal damage, domestic violence disorderly conduct. If I release you, you're not to have any contact with Mr. Heachea Fowler, not to return to his residence. Can you comply with those orders?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then you got to come back to court January 7th at 1:30, or a warrant will issue for your arrest, okay?
Okay.
All right, so you're released, but no contact, no return.
Okay. Thank you. I'll give you paperwork. You gonna go out, Lauren? Lauren, yeah, go back up at the end of the side.
What's your name?
Lauren Nassim.
All right, so I think you have a new charge of criminal damage, disorderly conduct, 2 counts, and drug paraphernalia. So I'm going to order you not to go back to any of the incident locations, including on all these cases that you failed to appear on. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no contacts with the victims. Appoint the public defender to represent you and hold you on a $500 bond on all your failures to appear here. And your next court date will be December 10th at 1:45. And that's it, sir. Okay.
Robert.
What's your name, sir?
Robert David Van Heist.
All right, you're charged with domestic violence, disorderly conduct, domestic violence, assault. Ms. Gates, are you present and did you want to be heard? Okay. You have a right to be heard on release and whether you want contact or return. Did you want to let me know?
Yes, please. I
I'm making arrangements to leave the residence. I don't know how quickly that can be done, but I don't want any contact at all. And I really appreciate it if he did not come back until I was gone.
Okay. All right, so the way I usually write my orders is no contact with Miss Gates, and then I say no return to her residence. So, Mr. Van Nuys, you can't go back there until you know she's not living there anymore, and you can't have any contact with her. But there's a really high risk assessment in this case, and I'm going to hold you on $1,000 bond, appoint the city public defender. In or out, your next court date will be December 11th at 1:30. But if you do post your bond, you cannot go back to Miss Gates's residence, wherever she is living, and have no contact with her. You understand?
I do, Your Honor. That our residence, my dog is there, and she is not technically on leash. She's there as a resident. So how do?
She gets to live there until we change this order or until she
tenant.
moves. She said she's gonna move, but when you get arrested, I get to tell you who lives where. So you don't get to
Okay.
go where she is. So as long as she's there, you don't go back. Okay?
Yes. Is there any possible way of me staying? I know I already talked to my parents. They're fine with me staying there. I have no problem not going back to that residence, not seeing her again. I
Okay.
am actively.
You can do that if you post the bond. If not, we'll see you on December 11th at 1:30. Miss Gates, you are always welcome to come to court. There are advocates there for victims in the court, so you're welcome to come that day, all right? All right, that's it.
Okay, thanks so much. I will do. All right, all right.
What's the name?
Matthew Wyndham, Your Honor.
All right, when you've got a new drug paraphernalia charge and an older one with a failure to appear, but it looks like you may have a federal hold. Are you on federal probation or something?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to release you, and your next court date in city court on these is going to be January 14th at 2:00. If you are still in custody, you should at least write the court, okay, and let us know, because then we won't issue a warrant for your arrest. But if you're out, you need to come to court, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then you're released to go into federal custody, so. That's it, sir.
Thank you.
All right, you guys ever find Mr. Garcia or no?
He's right here. Yeah.
Garcia,
That's what I'm.
come see the best.
Where? You can see right here, but.
What's your name? First, I'm seeing you on a new shoplift charge out of Justice Court, and on that one, I'm gonna order you not to go back to the incident location. I will note that you are in custody. If you get out of custody, you gotta come back to court December 31st at 8:30, or a warrant will issue for your arrest. If you're not out, they'll look for you in custody and see you on video again. You have a bunch of city court cases, though. 3 different dockets, so you've hit my limit of me letting you out. So on your drug paraphernalia, your theft, shoplifts, I'm gonna hold you on a $500 bond on those and appoint a city public defender to see you, to represent you on those city court cases. And December 10th at 1:45 will be your next court date on those. And that's it, sir.
Okay.
All right. Good. Okay, we're gonna find out now. Just look at this thing up. Yeah. Melanie. Oh my God, where are we?
Good evening, Judge.
We're excited to see that Mr. Gant is here. I know I am.
Good evening, Judge. How are you?
Evening, relieved. But I'm working like 4 nights this week, so I'm sure it's just a matter of the odds. All right.
A Spanish speaker. Oh, Judge, the jail staff informs me that she requires the Spanish interpreter.
Yeah, we got one on the line. You there?
Yes, the interpreter is ready.
Okay. All right. What's your name, ma'am? Let the interpreter do the whole thing, okay? So,
Si le va a estar asistiendo el intérprete, ¿ok? Entonces, ¿puedes decirle a la juez cuál es tu nombre?
Yesaya Ontiveros.
Yesaya Michaela Ontiveros.
you are charged with theft of means of transportation and unlawful flight from law enforcement.
Te está acusando de hurto de un medio de transportación y también por intento de fuga de agentes del orden público.
And counsel, the state's asking for a $10,000 bond. Did you want to be heard?
Y abogado, la fiscalía está pidiendo $10,000 de fianza. ¿Usted tiene algo que decir?
Yes, please, Judge. It looks like this is Ms. Ontiveros's first arrest of any kind. The pretrial services report shows no felony or misdemeanor history.
Y la señora Ontiveros no tiene ningún tipo de arrestos. El informe de la Agencia de Servicios previos al juicio indica que no tiene ningún registro de delitos mayores o menores.
Your Honor, she has no detainers. This is a property crime at its best. Also, Your Honor, the extreme cooperation with police is something that I feel the court should give a little bit of weight to.
All right.
No tiene ningún tipo de detenciones y este fue un delito a una propiedad de considerar la cooperación que tuvo con la policía.
So we're asking for release, Judge.
Entonces le estoy pidiendo que por favor la dejen en libertad bajo su propia promesa de que va a comparecer.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with defense, Mr. Gant, unless you want to be heard further than your recommendation.
Y la juez se inclina a estar de acuerdo con el abogado de la defensa, a menos de que la fiscalía tenga algo más que agregar.
The focus of my recommendation, Judge, was the content of the complaint, which included her fleeing from deputies and reckless driving together.
Okay. All right. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent, I'm sorry, go ahead and interpret that, counsel.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was not able to hear Mr. Gant.
Okay.
Same.
I'm sorry, I said the focus of my recommendation was simply the content of the complaint, which included reckless driving and fleeing from deputies.
El abogado de la fiscalía solamente se enfocó en el contenido del informe policíaco, en donde se mencionaba que pues estaba conduciendo imprudentemente y que también intentó huir del orden público.
Given the defendant's lack of criminal history, I am going to release her to pretrial services.
Dado a que la acusada no tiene un historial penal, estoy inclinada a dejarla en libertad bajo la supervisión de servicios previos al juicio.
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with the victim, the owner of the car.
Usted no debe de consumir alcohol ni drogas y no debe de tener contacto con el dueño del vehículo.
And your next court date is December 23rd at 1:30 for preliminary hearing. If you don't appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Se le va a nombrar a un abogado de oficio. Su siguiente fecha de audiencia va a ser el 23 de diciembre a la 1:30. Usted tiene que comparecer, si no, se va a ordenar su arresto.
So you need to report to pretrial services and call your attorney, ma'am, tomorrow.
Entonces se tiene que poner en contacto con las agencias previos al juicio y también comunicarse con su abogado.
Okay?
Eso es todo. ¿Sí entendió, señora?
Sí.
Yes. Muy bien.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, Your Honor. I'll be here if someone needs me.
Okay, I don't think we do, but what? Right.
Let's see what happens.
What's your name, sir?
Manuel Castañeda.
All right, you are charged with organized retail theft. And the state's asking for a $10,000 bond. Counsel, did you want to be heard?
Yes, please, Judge. We acknowledge that Mr. Castaneda has some felony history, although the last one, the commission date is 2018, so there has been a sort of hiatus, although not, it's a reasonably long one, but not too long. But Judge, Mr. Castaneda, I talked to him before court today, and he really wants you to give him a chance on pretrial services. He cannot afford a bond today, so he's asking for pretrial services, Judge, and since that's what he's asking, I don't know if I can suggest an alternate bond at this stage. So, thank you.
All right, given the admission to this continuing criminal enterprise, I don't feel that I can release Mr. Castaneda. So I am going to hold him on a $2,500 bond, pretrial services if posted, appoint the public defender, no return to the incident location, no contact with the victims, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And the preliminary hearing will be December 11th at 1:30.
Thank you.
Wait, what's your name? Yeah, Felipe. Zachary?
Exactly. We're looking for Zach.
Zachary and Christopher. Go have a seat. I'll call you.
Zachary.
Oh, I can't. Oh, God. Have a seat. I'll call you and I'll go open.
What's your name, sir?
Zachary Christopher Delahaye.
All right, Mr. Dillahay, you are charged with domestic violence, aggravated harassment, and aggravated domestic violence. And counsel, the state's asking for a $25,000 bond. And my understanding, is there a hold on Mr. Dillahay yet? It doesn't look like there is, probably, but.
No, Your Honor. The jail just told me no, but I suspect it's because it's the weekend.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to be heard?
Yes, please, Judge. We understand there is a scheduled probation end date in 2026. Your Honor, we are asking you to consider. Your Honor, it looks like the victim did not suffer any physical injuries or harm. And for that reason, Your Honor, we are asking you to consider a less than $25,000 bond, but obviously release if you're inclined. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Dillahay pretty much has all domestic violence cases except occasional firearms with a threat. Is on probation for domestic violence. So I am going to hold him on that $25,000 bond, appoint the public defender, no contact with Miss Parker, no return to her residence, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms. Released to pretrial if the bond is posted, and December 11th at 1:30 is the preliminary hearing.
Local.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Farnsworth Smith, they couldn't bring him down because
He's
at least he was being.
himself, yeah. All right, we
Yes.
continued it to the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right here, right here, right here, right here.
What's your name, sir?
Carlos, Utah, Gonzalez.
You are charged with attempted burglary and possession of drug paraphernalia, and the state's asking for a $15,000 bond. Counsel, did you want to be heard?
Yes, please, Judge. So looking at the pretrial services report, pretrial services indicates there is no felony history, although I'm guessing he has some misdemeanor history, which is not noted in the report because how else would he get a 6 on 6 on the FDA scale? I don't know. But Your Honor, if the court is inclined to release to pretrial services, that we will obviously take that. But if you're not inclined, given the nature of the charges, we ask that the bond be no more than $1,000. He cannot even afford that, is my understanding. Thank you.
All right, I will appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Gonzalez. No return to the incident location, no alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm gonna hold him on a $7,500 bond, pretrial services if posted. December 11th at 1:30 is the preliminary hearing. Appoint the public defender if I didn't say that. And then Mr. Gonzalez also has a drug paraphernalia charge with a failure to appear. And I'm gonna release him on that one, January 14th at 2:00 if you get out, Mr. Gonzalez. Otherwise, we'll see you sooner. And that's it.
And that was City Court, Judge?
Yeah, that was city court.
Goodness. Thank you.
What's your name, ma'am?
Bianca Teresa Duque.
All right, you are charged with possession of a narcotic drug, possession of a dangerous drug. And it looks like you're eligible for a diversion program, and counsel, the prosecution's recommending a $1,000 bond just to get her some credit. You on board with that?
Yes, Judge. It's my understanding that she is waiting to see a judge on a sentencing in Superior Court. So
Okay,
that sounds reasonable.
okay. And then she's really smart, hearing eligible, so I guess that is true. So I guess what I will do is appoint the public defender, no alcohol or illegal drugs, $1,000 bond, free trial services if posted. And then the smart hearing, the diversion hearing is December 10th at 9. And then you want to leave the preliminary hearing as the 11th for now, since she's got that sentencing coming up.
Judge, thank you.
Okay. All right. But then we're not done yet. Ms. Luque, you have other projects. Let's see what else you have. A justice court review hearing on something, vehicle theft out of Nogales. What should I even do with that? If I release her, what will happen to her? Should I hold her and get her a lawyer there, you think, counsel?
Yes, Judge. Although we came across this issue yesterday, I believe we have stopped appointing out-of-county attorneys because I believe an OCAC attorney from Pima County needs to be appointed. But I guess the new procedure is you just set a bond and then don't appoint an attorney.
Okay.
Or I don't know.
No, I never. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is set a bond of $500, and then the review hearing is, you gave me December 1st. When should it really be for a review hearing on an out of custody warrant? But that's today. Okay, thanks. December 31st. Okay, so we'll set that one for December 31st for a review hearing and see what happens. And then you have a bunch of city court cases. So I am going to hold you on a $250 bond on those, ma'am, and give you a public defender on those so that you can get credit for those too while you're in there. And show December 11th, PH. And those are all theft, shoplifting, criminal trespass, domestic violence, assault, contributing to the delinquency or dependency of a minor. So your city public defender will see you on those, and that court date will be December 10th at 1:45. Next item. All right, I think that's it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Can I give him a video review? Right. Yep. All right, so Mr. Gant. Well, let's see what defense has to say about Mr. Olzaba's DUI. Do you have anything to say, counsel?
Okay, Judge, I was looking for probable cause. I don't know if the court is thinking that it's unclear if it's a drug DUI or an alcohol DUI, and there's definitely the wrong way driving, but then the impairment is not sufficiently supported. So that would be my basis unless the court has a different view of the facts.
Now, that was my interpretation, unless Mr. Gant can tell me something differently, but I don't see anything that there be able to say what it was all caused by. Mr. Gant, do you see anything? Because there's nothing about a smell of alcohol or any kind of like, oh, these are related to this kind of drug or anything.
Yeah, Judge, I mean, I'll admit it's not the most appropriately written probable cause statement I've ever read. That being said, when you combine wrong way driving on the freeway for 2 to 3 miles, driving on the shoulder with fluctuating speeds, red, watery, bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, confusion, and he exhibited behaviors that included sudden bursts of hyperactivity, speaking excitedly and rapidly, and they attempted field sobriety tests, but he refused or wasn't able to do them. I guess he wasn't able to do them because of injuries. Given all that, I think it's a reasonable inference for the court to make that he was impaired to the slightest degree. So based on that, I'd ask that the court, to a standard of probable cause, and again, I'll admit it's not the best written interim complaint I've ever read, but I do think the standard of probable cause is there. I'd ask the court to find it.
But he was impaired, but by what? I mean, he could have been impaired. No, I can't do it. I need him to like smell like alcohol or have a symptom that they can relate to a drug. I don't find probable cause for this. So, Mr. Elizaba, that does not mean they're not going to come back and arrest you for this. But tonight, I'm going to dismiss it because I don't find probable cause. But you may very well get a complaint still filed against you because it could very well just be the way the report was written tonight. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
We're done with that. Would you like, Boris?
Oh, let's see.
Um, I only have the charge of, well, maybe, oh, is there two? Okay, I didn't even see the possession of prohibited weapon on Mr. Salas. Was he already seen on that or no? Was it continued?
Judge, we saw him this morning, but the defense attorney asked that he be continued over for tonight for everything. So you're seeing
okay.
him both interims.
All right, so I was looking at your recommendation. I was like, seriously? But I hadn't seen that second charge. All right. So
Yeah, that would be a lot on just one.
Judge, my apologies. I haven't seen the second piece either. So, is it?
It's
So-
it's a charge of wait, now I've lost it. It's a charge of possession of a prohibited weapon. Let's see. He had a backpack with a rifle inside of it. Do you have the probable cause statement?
I'm looking for a judge. If it was this morning, I'm quickly scrolling through to make sure I'm
Okay.
looking at the right seat.
So, Mr. Gant, why can't he have a gun?
Well, Judge, I believe the rifle was too short.
It was a sawed-off one. Okay, that's what I was trying to
Too
figure out.
short. He's also 18 years old. I'm sorry, Judge. So, yeah, based on those factors, I have a rash, and I'm not sure how much the court can consider this. I mean, I know it's a case-by-case basis, but I have seen an incredible number of cases lately where 17 and 18-year-olds are packing rifles that are illegal weapons, when they're too short, and they're leading to people becoming incredibly injured or killed in this community. And based on that, with him carrying it in a backpack, I'm asking the court to impose some kind of, it's just such a dangerous one.
Okay, no, I just wanted to know it's because it's too short is the issue, right? Okay.
And Your Honor, I got the interim. I skimmed through it. I think I'm ready to go.
Okay, so the state is asking, based on both of these things, a $20,000 bond then, counsel.
So Judge, the state noted this already. Mr. Salas is 18 years old. And also just looking at the interim complaint on the first one, I understand where the state is coming from, but I don't think he at least didn't intend to commit any violent acts. It seems like he was allegedly showing off stuff on social media. The other thing, Your Honor, is he has absolutely no felony or misdemeanor criminal history, and given the total, and his mother can provide third-party custody and transport. She is willing to assume third-party custody. Strong ties to Tucson, 11 years in the state. For all those reasons, Judge, we're asking you to give him one chance on pretrial services. But if you're not inclined on both interim complaints, in case you were to combine them, we would ask that the bond be no more than $2,000.
Okay. I think they are combined because I only have 1 minute entry, so I'm combining them. And I am going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Salas. No guns, surrender any firearms that he still has. No alcohol or illegal drugs, because we have to remember the gun was paired with drugs in this case, allegedly. So I am going to hold Mr. Salas on a $10,000 bond, release to pretrial services if posted, appoint the public defender, and the preliminary hearing will be December 11th at 1:30. All right, thank you all. Have a good evening.
You too, Judge. Have a good evening. Thank you, Ryan.
Judge, have a good night. Good night, Leon.
Good night, Ryan.
All right, that wasn't too bad.